Oh my god! Hello YouTube. Hello, hello. So I'm just want to bring up a video talking about what I've farmed throughout this league so far. How I've gotten to the point where I'm right now, where it's like I have pretty damn expensive gear and stuff, you know, full prices and things. As well as maybe give some suggestions to people that don't have any pets on what to farm. So I think I have a decent idea of like decent grass with some good strats and things. So for me personally, the biggest first thing that I started off with this league that made me some decent money was day one of the league. Because Eternal was so difficult, there was like no candles at all on the market. So what I was doing is I was buying like Lone King of Eternal invites, these Queen's Wicks, for like 30 to 40 FE, killing the boss, and selling the candles for like 100 to 200 FE. And like every boss kill, I was just straight up making like more than 50 FE profit. Which day one of the league, like that was really good for me. I definitely didn't abuse it as much as I could have. Because, you know, like it's kind of boring to do. But these were very good for me early on. And then, after I got to that, I tried a few strats. So, getting to 8 was pretty easy and stuff. I did some Oasis farming. I was not a big fan of the Oasis. It seems very, very nerfed this league. But, the big things that were sticking to me first early on was doing both Dream, doing full investment Dream, taking every point in this tree, except for these four, as well as doing Black Sail, and on Black Sail, like I was trying out taking both the Boss Whisperer as well as this Whisper of Wealth. At the start of the league, I actually did not think the Boss Whisperer was worth it at all, I'll be honest with you. Like, I had a few Black Sails, where it's like I had 4 Boss Whispers, for example. I kept choosing like the 40% chance to get an invite, things like that. And then I would kill like the pirate boss, and I just wouldn't get a single invite, and I wouldn't get any other loot, and it just felt dog shit. So eventually, how I developed the strategy was actually to run Dream, like take all of his top runs of Dream, but none of the bottom ones, to run Black Sail, and I just put in these 8 points here for Whispers of Wealth, and then the rest of my points actually went into beacons to try and self-sustain my maps. And doing that with the blue compass, for Dream, this Nightmare Compass, which at the time was like 3 FE each, as well as doing like the purple Black Sail Compass, which was like 5 FE at the time, it actually felt really good. And I think I was making some decent money early on. But just throughout the league, like I've been trying various strats, I've been trying different people's setups. One thing that I really liked was actually just doing like straight up Dream and Beacons, completely skipping Black Cell, and just putting all your points into Beacon and Dream, which made it that not only was I able to self-sustain my maps in Profound, I was also able to not only was I able to self-sustain my maps in Profound, but I was also able to make a decent amount of money early on with Dream Talkings. Because Dream on its own is like not that amazing. But occasionally, like the bosses you spawn in the maps from Dream will just like drop you a 20 stack of trinkets. And like early on, that was like 400 FE. That felt pretty damn good for me. But after a lot of tinkering, playing around, I think I finally found the strategy for me this league. And I like to call this strategy the Bang Bus. So, the Bang Bus is a very pay-to-win strategy. And don't worry, I will give you a non-pay-to-win setup afterwards. But essentially what the strategy is doing is I'm speccing into Clockwork. Most importantly, I'm speccing into these nodes here to give me drop quantity from Clockwork. That affects my map. But on top of that, I'm also just taking some generic like compass stuff. Speccing in some compass points, because compasses are nice to have. Not too much compass points or anything, but just like the occasional Dorothy proc does add up. I'm speccing into some very generic drop quantity, just to juice the map a bit more. I'm speccing into some drop rarity. This is like my copium points. I'm hoping to like drop an Eternity or a Lone Walkers or something like that. Especially with the league mechanic and being able to triple it would be like absolutely amazing. And I have 5 points in Oasis. Because what I've realized with Oasis is you don't need it every map to sustain your gold. If you just have the occasional Oasis spawn, and you just do the occasional Oasis, it'll give you some FE, it feels nice, and you get a lot of gold. You get enough gold to keep your town up and running, as well as to like send shipments and stuff. So even though Oasis doesn't seem that good, when I'm spending only 5 points to just do like the occasional glider, to just send out the occasional ship and stuff, it feels pretty decent. And my Oasis is already fully leveled up to 8, because I was doing it early in the league. And the reason why I say this is a pay-to-win strat is, you saw the strat works, right? I enter the map, I go and I interact with the Alice wheel. Interacting with the Alice wheel, I swap to my cog setup, which is using Alice and the 2 pets from Alice. Then I go to my mapping setup, which is using Chalk, Surging Gold, and Kong. Then I get to the Bang Boss. So I swap to my Carjack. I swap to my Carjack setup, which is, you know, Professor Source and her 2 pets. Then after that I swap to the Bang Boss. So what is the Bang Boss? Essentially, what we have found out from like asking Andre and like reading himself is that if you look at the Bang Boss, it says here, Carjack drops are not affected by drop quantity bonus for certain types of items. This would make you think that like only generic drop quantity works. So initially what we were trying to do is we were using pets that have very high drop quantity, like 38%. We did ask Andre, and he did say that after asking the developers, the pack spirits drop quantities that you have do absolutely nothing for the Carjack. Like, these just don't matter at all for Carjack. I don't know about the 6%, but at least like the 38% here does nothing. And upon learning that, what I'm now doing for my Bangmas is I'm running Kong, Dorothy, and I'm 50-50 between Skydome for the 10% chance to do dupe cards, or trying out Chalk for the 1% chance to drop a Flame Fuel. This 1% chance to drop Flame Fuel is not that amazing, but like maybe if you get lucky that Flame Fuel turns into a 50 stack of FE. Maybe. So I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm basically running all of the maybe something will drop, and then we can get a proc. Back spread setup. Then once I'm done with this, I swap back to my mapping setup, which is the one I already showed you of Surging Gold. And then at the end of the map, I swap to my compass setup with Dorothy to then do the turn-in. And that's why I call this the Giga Pay to Win fucking strat. Because I'm using Alice, Dorothy, Kong, Chalk, and fucking Professor Source. Now, to be fair, you probably don't need Kong or Chalk, or even Alice for the strat. Hell, you probably don't even need Dorothy. I think 90% of the profit is probably just coming from, like, you know, Professor Source. Because the new league mechanic is absolutely jacked up. It is absolutely insane and profound. And if you run a lot of, like, quant and stuff in your maps, it really is noticeable. Because you just get so many, like, absolutely insane runs going. But with all of that in mind, I do have a suggestion for people who don't have pets. A suggestion that I don't know if I've seen anyone else do it yet, but a strategy that's always been very strong in this game is just do boss rushing. So the way that boss rushing works is normally you do it in T7, but you can also do it in Tarmac 8. The reason you do it in T7 is just because you don't really care about drop quantity stuff. Is you go to your trader, you just buy a ton of tier 7 beacons. You know, you just max this out. Buy all of these beacons. You go into your map. You choose the best layout. So what I personally liked farming was doing them in village, because it's like a straight line. It's not the fastest map, but it is like a straight line of decent mob quantity. And you run no compasses, because again, you don't care about the drop quantity. You just run some resonance. And your entire Atlas strat is focused on 1, you want to try and drop yourself Tarmac 8 beacons. 2, you want to try and get all of the boss drops. You know, you want to try and drop resonance from bosses. You want to get winding keys. You want to get, not energy cores, that kind of suck this league. You want to get elixirs of oblivion. All the like generic stuff that people want, as well as star shards, because you want to do as many glacial watches as possible, which is why I think this strat is also pretty good in Tarmac 8, if you can do it, because, you know, then you're farming for Surgings, or, you know, Mortal Reverie, or whatever boss you decide to do. And on top of that, because obviously you can't just make a trio out of just this and beacon nodes, some other things that are very strong is also spec into Eternal. Because Eternal mobs just aren't affected by drop quantity at all, and they pretty much always just give you reverberations, which is the Eternal invites that people use to go into the city, and those also sell for a decent chunk. These are at the moment 0.5, they're constantly going up because, unfortunately, Eternal is like an insane DPS check, so not that many people can farm it yet. And then these are 0.5 too. It's like a nice bonus. The main focus of this farm is like, you know, Uniform Neverum Resonance, they're selling for 0.12, you know, like you can sell like a stack of 1000 for like 130 FE. You're farming Winding Keys, which are selling for 0.7 each. You're farming Elixirs of Oblivion, that are selling for 0.5 each. And you're just focusing on like boss rushing. For that strat, what you're probably going to be doing for your like Profound Atlasry is going to be like using maybe this boss nodes, sorry, not those boss nodes. Yeah, these boss nodes if you can handle it, as well as the Star Shard nodes. Because again, we don't actually care about the card, we're just running the same loud every single time, and we're completely ignoring the card. But that's all the strats and stuff. I'll do a quick map showcase. I did start the video off with like a showcase of the Bang Bus, but I can do another showcase just so that you guys can see like that strat in action. So I've been from Steel Forge. I mostly from Steel Forge just because the maps are pretty cheap, and it drops Mortal Reverie, which is more expensive than Searching Inspiration at the moment. I always go just full drop quantity. For my compasses, I'm using Ecliptic and Dual Compass. And now you get to see the full Bang Bus in action. I come in, I swap to cogs. Yeah, what I'm going for is either the B ranking option or just like the additional loot thingy, or obviously rainbows, if you see rainbows. Then I swap back to my mapping setup. So my mapping setup is just Kong, Chalk, all those things. And what I'm gonna do now is I try to think about the layout of the map when I'm clearing it. So this map's a full circle, so I'll actually full clear the map before I do the Bang Bus. But in other maps, I don't think it's worth it to like do the entire map, then run back to the Bang Bus. I would rather just have less drop quantity for the Bang Bus than waste time, like spending too much time on the map. Because at the end of the day, like, the most important thing in Torchlight is the amount of maps you're doing. You need to be spamming maps. It's maps per hour, not FE per hour in this game. Same with pretty much any RPG, to be honest, though. That's why Erika 2 is such a strong hero, because she's a very speedy character. But let us finish. Now, as you can see in the top right, most of the like cogs I'm getting, or like the geared cogs, right? Those don't even drop you like anything good. They're not going to give you compass or anything, because we're not using any compass to like increase the likelihood of getting compass tiles. The whole idea of this strategy is it's so low investment that all you're really going for is just the occasional lucky Dorothy proc, or the occasional lucky compass proc. So I'm going to swap to my carjack pets now. So you see it went heist, and then it went Bang Bus. Bang Bus again is just all of like the card pets, the Dorothy pets, Chalk maybe, just pets that have chances to proc and give you something good. And another thing about the Bang Bus is the cap on Bang Bus is you can only kill these security guards 30 times. Once you kill 30 times, no matter how much time you have left, the timer will end. And it will like despawn the mobs that you didn't like kill with them. So this strat is very important that you're like playing a build that can easily get to 30 every single time on like every layout. So like this time I only got 29, that's pretty bad. But despite getting only 29, you know, I still made... What is this? I still made 3 Sacred Fossils, and I made like 160 FE, 100... maybe more like 200 FE. And then we swap to compasses. We do the turn in. Maybe we get an Alice block? Nope. You wait a second, because these things take a bit to show up. I don't know why they take so long to show up. You loot your compasses, and you go next map. And that's the whole strat. You just keep doing that. Next map, next map, next map, next map, next map. But anyway, that's what I've been farming. I've been having so much fun with the strat. It's absolutely amazing to do. I'll have my strat sheet in the description. And I will have, you know, I'll have the strat codes and stuff in the description. I might go ahead and make you guys a boss rush Atlas strat code. The only annoying thing about it is that I have to, like, redo one of my strat codes to, like, make that one for you guys. But anyway, I hope you all have a lovely day. And I'll see you all another time. Bye, YouTube.